long time since I've done this. What is going on, guys? It's been a while. I think it's been at least a year and a half since I've put out a YouTube video. I've been making excuse after excuse, pushing it off, and finally today I just decided I need to pick up the camera and start recording. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm gonna just hit you with a life update here. What's, why I stopped making YouTube videos, my goal for future YouTube videos, what's happened between then and now, how my first cycle went, what my future competition physique goals are, and my relationship status and that whole transition, which maybe some of you have been following. It's all over the freaking Reddit pages and whatnot, which is pretty annoying, but it is what it is. So, first thing, I stopped making YouTube videos just because I stopped prioritizing it at the end of the day. It was a mental and emotional struggle that started with, things falling through with my videographer, making excuses not to do it myself or find another videographer, my mic jack going out, which I still haven't fixed, by the way. It just, like I said, I just decided to just pick up the camera and start recording, or it wasn't going to happen. I was going to keep pushing it off. And then really the main thing being just realizing that I wasn't fulfilled in my relationship. I wasn't truly happy, and I had to make a change in that relationship. And like there are things that go into that I want to cover, because I want to cover relationship stuff because, for one, I feel like I've gained a ton of wisdom over the past year and a half when it comes to relationships and just growing on an emotional level in general. And so I want to share more of that. Obviously I want to continue helping you guys through fitness, but to me, fitness is very surface level. I want to start getting into a greater depth of value with you guys. So I hope I can start to do that with more, just sharing more of my life and more of who I really am, and just not filtering myself because I feel insecure about myself. You know what I mean? I just want to be more open and raw with you guys, because I have been feeling a disconnect from social media and my followers in general. And I just want more connection at the end of the day. I want to provide more value. I want to connect more. So I of course want to keep doing fitness stuff, but I want to just share more of my life with you, because I do feel like I have been pretty damn successful overall, and I just want to help you guys become successful. And I don't mean success just in the sense of making money. I mean success in the sense of being happy, fulfilled, obtaining freedom, doing what you love, following your passion, that type of thing, and just living the life you want to live ultimately. That's what I really want to get more into. So I hope I can do that. But okay, anyway, back to the relationship stuff, going through that massive transition, realizing I wasn't happy. And I want to say that it didn't have to do with Gina necessarily. This has nothing to do with Gina as a person. It has to do with us being compatible. You know what I mean? When you have different love languages, or you're just one type of person, she's another type of person, it's like those things can clash, and one person doesn't feel appreciated, the other person doesn't feel loved, and resentment builds, and it goes up in flames basically. But that's a big thing this is a big thing I really want to discuss here, because I feel like it could help a lot of people out, is that I could have stayed in that relationship for a long time, if not forever, which sounds kind of weird. But I'm just saying I was very comfortable, and it's not like anything was ever so bad to the point to where I couldn't stand it. It was just at the end of the day, I wasn't really in love with this person. I also didn't feel very appreciated. So it's I'm doing both of us a disservice by staying in this relationship. It's a very hard decision to make, because it's so enticing to want to stay within that comfort zone, but taking that leap and risking the possibility of uncertainty was the best decision I ever made. And I know it was the best decision for me. I know eventually she'll see that it was the best decision for her as well, if she hasn't already. So it's a great feeling knowing that you did that for yourself and for the other person, just by ending it, Yeah, anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about that. Obviously, that was a big transitional thing with her moving out, and you're with somebody for 5 years. It's crazy. So that took a huge toll. And then really, I just wanted to prioritize. I just started prioritizing myself and just going out and having a good time is really what 2021 was. I maintain good business, like I maintain a solid physique. I mean, I definitely made some gains throughout 2021, but really the focus was just purely enjoying life, you know, and figuring my own internal shit out. Like that was the main focus. Like maintain here, like maintain social media, maintain business, maintain my physique, maybe grow a little bit, but ultimately I needed to just focus on enjoying life and figuring out my shit long term, and like how to just be at peace with myself when I was completely alone, you know, because I hadn't been alone in 5 years, and at a certain point a part of your identity becomes attached to that other person. And so, you know, anybody who's been in a long relationship like that, when it ends, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like, you know, you're trying to find yourself again and really just get yourself together being alone. You know, and that's a very powerful place to be once you can do that and get very comfortable being alone. So I'm very grateful for that whole process. But 2021 was definitely the best and worst year of my life because of all that transition, because all the emotional turmoil. Like I did so much, I had so much fun. I still worked on myself. You know, I discovered a lot of great things about myself and went through some healing. But it was also just emotional torture. And like it was, of course, like any type of change is very difficult to go through. You know, it was just so difficult. So that was my main priority. That's where all my energy went. Like sometimes it was simply just keeping my head above water. You know, and that's where I just want to get into like my updated relationship status is that now I'm with my best friend Allie Bess, and it's been amazing. We got together in this most recent January a few months ago, and it's been incredible. Just to put it into perspective. You know, whenever I proposed to Gina, I had known her for 2 years, where when me and Allie started dating, we'd already been best friends for 3 years, you know, so it's weird just getting together with somebody, but already feeling like we're starting way ahead of where I was at. Like having that friendship, that best friend as a foundation for a relationship has been a total game changer. And I really urge you to search for that, you know, like already knowing a person when you get together versus dating them to get to know them, completely different experience. And I hope more people find that with their best friends. You know, at the end of the day, it's like dating your hot best friend. You know what I mean? So it's pretty great. But yeah, that's pretty much that. You know, one relationship ends, another begins, and there was all this drama and shit thrown out in between there, which I don't want to get into. It's irrelevant. I don't feel like we need justification. There were times when I felt like we did kind of need to defend ourselves, but I'm extremely over it. It's not what we're talking about. I'm not going to get into that. So really quick, just to end off the whole relationship section of this, I want to say, like, I think one of the biggest differentiators with this relationship compared to any one I've had in the past, aside from having that friendship as a foundation, is just understanding each other and having such a natural flow in how we are, having that compatibility to such a degree. You know, it's just everything's so natural. We're always on the same page, and like we both understand each other and we appreciate each other. And I think that's such a huge thing. I used to say, you know, people used to ask me like how I thought like Gina was the one, because people love to always throw that stuff out, like, oh, you said this about Gina, blah blah. One, I mean, I don't think I've ever said exactly the same thing, but of course at the time you think those things, but little things do change. You learn, you figure out more about who you are, what you want, what you look for in a partner, things like that. But I think one of the biggest things is like, so what I used to say was when somebody asked me like, oh, how do you know she's the one? It's like, well, we just, you know, I can be myself and like we grow together. But like, I mean, you can be yourself and grow with a lot of different people, but not that many people fully appreciate you for being yourself and understand the way you are. And I think that's been such a big thing. Anyway, just want to throw that out there. I'm very happy and hope some of what I talked about helps you guys in some way. But on to the next portion here. I just wanted to briefly talk about my first cycle, because it's kind of where I left off with you guys whenever I finished up YouTube like the last time I was posting videos, is I was like near the end of my first cycle. And just to briefly lay it out for you, I gained, based off of DEXA scan, I gained 16 pounds of muscle in 16 weeks, and I only went up 1% body fat, which is pretty crazy. So super successful first cycle. Now I'm just on TRT, maintaining I can definitely go more in depth on that first cycle if you guys would like in another YouTube video. Drop it down in the comments below. I'll definitely prioritize that if you want to see that and see more of what I've done since then in regards to that. But that's all I'm going to say about it in this YouTube video. And then lastly, just competition and physique goals. So I don't want to compete. I probably won't compete at all this year. Like I'm at a really good point right now where, I mean, I do want to continue to improve. Like there are certain areas of my physique that I do feel are lacking, and regardless of competing or not, I want to improve them. But it also feels great to be at a point where I am happy with the way I look, and I actually want to be a little bit leaner. We got EDC Vegas coming up here next week, so I want to be a little bit leaner for that. I've been cutting a little bit, just pretty modestly, but I'd like to maintain a slightly leaner physique for a little bit, just continue prioritizing business and social media for the rest of this year, just kind of maintain for the most part until I start another cycle, probably at the beginning of next year or sometime early next year, and do another show. I know I at least want to compete one more time. I'm not sure how far I want to go with that anymore. I've definitely found my interest in competing dwindle a little bit, just because I'm so much more focused on lifestyle. Like that's one thing I briefly want to touch up on right now is like, I don't know that if I knew what I knew now, I'm not sure that I would have ever hopped on and done a cycle. Like I am glad I tried it no matter what, especially if I could tell people like, hey, I tried it and honestly, yeah, I wish I stayed natural. You know, that I think that provides a lot of value. But anyway, I can get more in depth in that in another video if you guys want to see that. So just let me know. But yeah, ultimately, right now I want to maintain coast, be a little bit leaner, get good content, prioritize my business, get back on my grind with YouTube and just social media in general, and just putting more energy into those areas of my life. Definitely have some good travel this year, but you know, I'm not like partying and doing anything crazy compared to 2021. Like I went to 6 festivals last year, and in between that doing all kinds of little shows and events and stuff, and it was just way too much. I'm glad I had that year, but I'm never going to do that much ever again in a year, at least when it comes to partying and festivals and things like that. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it, guys. I've kind of rambled on, but I did enjoy this. Like this is just me being me. If you enjoy this stuff, then we vibe, and you know, you're in the right place. If not, then you're not in the right place, and it is what it is. So yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm gonna start making YouTube videos again, and yeah, honestly, like if you want to drop a comment or something, or let me know, like I don't know, it does help to have some kind of, it sucks saying this in a way, but like it helps to have some kind of validation that, okay, people appreciate that I'm coming back and making these videos, or you know what I mean? That's something that can definitely get to you after a certain point, especially even just with IG. Sorry, I know I'm rambling on right now. Even just with IG, doing this for years and years, and then this past year, I mean, I know my energy wasn't really there, but having like 0 growth on social media this past year, and then just actually seeing engagement dwindle, even though I'm not really even doing anything different. Maybe that's part of the issue. Whatever, different discussion. I'm just saying, like, it does get to you when like you're still showing up, and even though nothing's really changed, you're getting less and less appreciation for it. You know what I mean? Or at least that's what it feels like. So anyways, guys, point is, if you're glad I'm back, if you want to see more videos, drop a comment, hit the like button. I really appreciate it. And yeah, looking forward to doing more videos.